Hey everyone, I'm back and today we're going to be talking about Under the Silver Lake, directed by David Robert Mitchell, and this movie came out in 2018 or 2019, I'm not quite sure. It was never officially released in theaters because the studio A24 never released it because for reasons that I don't understand. They just didn't like the end product or something, I have no idea. But what this movie is about, it's about a character played by Andrew Garfield, and he meets this girl, and the movie takes place in LA, and he meets her, and one day, the next day after he meets her, she goes missing, everything in her apartment is gone, and the whole movie is about him trying to find her. And you might think it's a very simple story, but a lot happens that does not make any sense. But it's kind of played up for comedy, and it adds a lot to this movie, I feel. And there's plenty of characters that just show up for like a scene and then just disappear and never come back. And even the ones that do come back, they don't last too long. They only have a couple scenes later on in the movie. There's very few side characters in this movie that last. And this movie kind of plays off as a comedy, unlike It Follows. It was a much more serious approach from what I remember, or at least the parts that I'm thinking about are more serious. This one is a bit more comedic, however, there are horror elements to it, and even in the music soundtrack, it's very creepy, and there's lots of elements that I think work a little bit better than It Follows. There are some issues I have with this movie, and I'll get into those issues later, but in terms of what I really like about the movie, I think Andrew Garfield is great. He doesn't really play a likable character. He's kind of rude to people, and he's always lying to people about how he's doing, and I found that to be really entertaining. And I kind of want to get back to the horror elements of this movie. I think that the horror elements work very well, and there's some really disturbing things that happen in this movie, and a lot of it's really creepy, and it kind of gets under your skin, no pun intended. And I really think that this is a unique film that has a lot of ideas going on, and even though a lot of stuff may not add up to anything meaningful, I think it does a good job at keeping your interest throughout the film, and it never comes across as pretentious, and it never feels as though it's really stupid and feels like it's trying to be something more than it actually is. Because I feel the film has a good understanding of what it wants to be, and I feel as though this movie has a clear goal as to what it wants to achieve, and I think it worked really well for this movie. Notice how I'm kind of tiptoeing around this movie and trying not to spoil any scene that happens in this movie. That's because it can be really easy to spoil the experience of this movie. And this movie kind of reminded me of The Big Lebowski, where in that movie, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this. I didn't find it all that funny, and it didn't really connect with me, and I was kind of bored throughout the entire film. And there was only like a few scenes that I found to be pretty funny. This movie has everything that I want out of it, and it's great throughout. And what I was going to say, comparing it to The Big Lebowski, is that the plot of the film isn't really the point. It's more about watching this character go on this confused journey, and it's pretty entertaining to watch. So if you do decide to watch this movie, keep that in mind, because this movie doesn't really follow a traditional narrative structure. As for issues that I have with it, there were a couple of moments where I felt a little uninvested, and I felt as though the movie was dragging on a little too much for my liking. And there was one tiny performance that I thought wasn't very good, and they were supposed to cry, and I saw no tears, and that's why I couldn't believe what this character was feeling. It's not really a spoiler, just keeping it vague. But that's it for issues, and overall, I think Under the Silver Lake is a very underrated movie, no pun intended. And if you haven't checked out this movie, definitely check it out. I think it's going to connect with a lot of people if you really give it a chance. And if you've seen this movie already, I feel as though this movie has replay value, and I do feel as though there's plenty of things to pick up on, and I've seen it twice now, and I'm sure there's things to pick up on a third viewing that I didn't pick up already. And I'm going to give Under the Silver Lake an 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Under the Silver Lake down below. And my social media links, they will all be in the description down below, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation. And I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that's going to be for Unbreakable, because I haven't talked about it yet. I've reviewed Split in Glass already, but never Unbreakable. Also, one other thing that I want to bring up, and this is going to be really quick. I am feeling a lot better now. I posted on both Twitter and Facebook that I was feeling really sick. And that's why I didn't post this video earlier, is because I was just not feeling well at all. I'm feeling much better, and I hope that this doesn't happen again, and I can continue making videos consistently. But until I get my review for Unbreakable up, thank you for watching, and have a great day.